almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River.
That intro makes me like want the fall to come so I can watch West Virginia football and basketball. Like that's what it does. And I'm a long ways away from fall, but
you just finished something that you were rooting for, didn't you?
Oh yeah, but yeah. So like, I needed this. I don't watch a lot of pro. I watch Major League Baseball, and I'm a Yankees fan. There's a reason why. Whatever. I needed them to be good, and they are, because West Virginia was terrible in basketball and football last year. So it's been great watching the Yankees just wreck everything. So, go to the chat. We got Joe Son talking in the house. What is up, Pastmaster Dan?
Was he singing the rest of the song?
Yeah, that's Tomorrow by Silverchair.
Thanks. Okay, I was wondering.
What about Prater 7, Astro Zombie, Pastmaster Dan? I think I said so. That's only people typing in the chat.
Hello.
We got more than that, but I don't know why people weren't talking.
They lurking or watching simultaneous with something else.
Prater's on mobile, but he says hi anyway. There's Gary G. All right. We didn't go last week. I had a hell of a week. My youngest graduated high school, and that was very cool.
Cool, yeah. Congrats.
So like he came out, and I like made sure the diploma was in there. Not that like it wouldn't be, but I'm like
just had to double check.
Yeah. Like you never know. Like maybe we forgot. Maybe there's a textbook fee or whatever. I don't know, but no. Like both of them. I'm done. 2 for 2, man. 2 for 2.
Now your daughter moved out. How's she?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I had to go. I was all helping her out last week. So, yeah, she moved out. She's closer to the college. She wanted to move and be on her own. So she's got a full-time job, going to school full-time. So,
wow.
My son, he gets a year off. She got a year off to figure out what she wanted to do. Now she didn't have to. She wanted to leave home, but yeah, he gets a bumper year or whatever the hell they call it. I don't even know what they call it, but yeah, he gets a year off where he can lay around and scratch his ass, and then not.
Now, why do you say he gets a year off? Because you're not forcing him to do something?
Yeah, yeah, nothing. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to have like a plan. Now his plan is to be a vet, which is cool, but like,
okay,
he doesn't have to go to school. Look,
You're too nice.
Well, I did the same thing for my daughter. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So who else we got? I think we got Von Stugel popped up. I see you. A hillbilly Rumspringer. Well, these kids aren't hillbillies. They're Kansans. They're not West Virginian. So there you go. All right, Amanda's on it.
Yeah, let me know when you see it because I can't see StreamYard.
Yep.
All right, so we have those that are closing first. So Enter the Cromniverse has 3 days left. Hybrids the Killing Fields has 6 days left. That is it for closing this week. We had a launch that was last Saturday, but where we weren't live. We're covering it now. So Reaper Destroyer launched a week ago with Joe, who's in the chat. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking. And I'm not drinking tonight, though.
I was gonna
ask. I'm drinking iced tea.
Maybe I should. Maybe it'll help. But anyway, so yeah, he did some good numbers within 24 hours. And then, so that is all that opened, but I did pull up ones that are launching this coming week. So we have Skits, the origin book that is launching Tuesday.
Yep.
Magna and the Posse that's launching Tuesday. Now this is John Hervey, which also did Black Tiger, for those that may not know.
That's Eric's boy.
That's my man.
I'm working my way through Black Tiger. I've been trying to get some other things done around the house too. All right, and then I had to check the date. So Wednesday, we have Clint Stoker's Dracula launching, as well as King Cryptid launching Wednesday.
Good stuff.
Busy week coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the wallets.
I like how Amanda's like CG's mom, and she just keeps track of everything. Like, what soccer game do I have? What child is this for?
Don't forget the goddamn orange slices.
It's funny though, because it's like I used to do a lot of volunteering, and now I don't volunteer as much anymore.
Because you watch YouTube instead.
I think that probably is it. I'm like, no, I'm focused on like CG, and I like organizing. I like keeping track of things per se, but it's like it's not too much because not everything's riding on me to remember this or that. So it's pretty golden. I'm not running a troop, which I'll be getting done next year too. So
you got to lube the pipes. Says well, that's Jim. He's an alcoholic. I don't know if that's true or not.
It is now, right?
I know. I said it, so there it is. Because Edward's in the house.
It must be true. It's on the internet.
Yeah, I said it. It's on the internet. That's right.
Hey, Skip.
Gary G says you might get Skits a shot.
I hear a really good thing about Skits. I haven't read it yet, but I think that's one that I'm backing this coming week.
Yeah, I really like their first book they did.
Yeah, I recommend it to you. It's different. It's good.
Yep.
So, like, I've been unplugged, and I've really enjoyed it. I've been watching Yankees games. I don't think I've watched a live stream since like over a week now. Like, I haven't watched one live stream, so I'm unplugged, man. Like, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
You're taking a CG vacation for real.
Yeah, dude. Like, I know what's launching. I know, like, like let's hit the news of the week. There were the whole. I thought Ethan said he was done with the line art, and then he wasn't done with the line art. I don't know what that's all about. Then he launched a campaign you didn't bring up,
Amanda.
A T-shirt.
Sorry, you're right. I missed that one.
Campaign.
John's in the house. What's up? What's up, Voyager?
I felt as though it was a little too weak. I'm like, I could have sworn there was something else, but I was thinking of She, but I'm like, no, that's done. That's closed. And we would have covered that last week if we were streaming. So.
Statistical Zero says, lucky day I get to watch the whole chat. The one episode I have, look, I've got nothing. Stat. Nothing. So we'll see how it goes.
Ask some questions there, Stato.
Yeah, stay plugged up, says Voyager. Sometimes you got to unplug, man. I feel like.
Yeah, for the mental health.
Also, someone's on my copies. Welcome to the swap meet in the chat. So yeah, Johnny Cage. The ever-present Johnny Cage is even there. Yeah, just Stat says he doesn't care that we have nothing. So, yeah, like you've been
Oh, you know
unplugged.
what happened like a couple weeks ago to
What?
update? Remember when, maybe it was more than a couple weeks ago, man, things do go by. But remember when we were showing our art? Was that the last stream we did? Or 2 streams, the stream before that?
I don't know.
But anyways, when we were talking about how the Shelby nipple thing, I did end up swapping that. And Sumo got it today. So just to update everybody on that. I wasn't hesitant because I didn't want to do it. It was just like trying to think of how to pack it in logistics, and it's original art. So it was, a little bit of pressure. But anyways, sorry to interrupt.
You didn't roll it up, did you?
I did not roll it up.
She folded.
All right.
No,
I
she
did
folded
put
it and put it in a Gemini.
I did pack it with cat hair though. I'm like taping up the box, and I'm like, there's cat hair on this tape, and I'm like, I took a piece off, and then I put another piece on. I'm like, there's more cat hair. I'm like, my cat is a huge pain in the ass. He has long hair, and it's everywhere. So I sent a note and apologized to Sumo.
Hope he's not allergic.
That's what I said actually, but I did say it was from a smoke-free home because I don't smoke in my home, but it's not pet-free.
So we got a big week coming up. We got 3 launches, like
4.
We got Skits launching. We got
Magna, Dracula, King Cryptid.
Oh yeah, we got Clint's launching. That's right. Yeah, Clint Stoker. So there you go. It looks like Jim's been getting a lot of books in the mail. How have you guys been getting books? Any of you guys?
I just got First Man today.
There you go.
I haven't got that yet.
I'm in the little lull right now.
You're in a backing lull though, Vanessa.
Well, I mean, I got Battle Brick Road, which pleasantly surprised, but I do have a backlog. So I read the first Earthbound, so I'm due to read the second one. That Narwhal is a different cat. He really is. Like if that was anybody else's art and it looked like that, I'd be like, hell to the no. Am I backing that? But Narwhal could Narwhal. I'll just say that.
I really liked his little side story in Graveyard Shift. I actually thought that was like the best part of Graveyard Shift.
Stat says he got First Man too. Anyone seen the Earthbound? Yeah, we talked about it 2 weeks ago, Prater. The animation that Narwhal's been working on.
Is there anything new been out for that? It looked really good.
I haven't seen anything in a while.
Yeah.
He posted an update. I didn't actually watch the video to see if he changed it, but he did say something about how he has like the first 10 minutes of the however long he plans to do it, but the scale of things is, or maybe it wasn't, maybe it was 5 minutes. The scale of things was quite off, but he was proud of himself, because it was like 1/60th done or something like that.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I feel like I did stop at the LCS over my break. I stopped at the LCS to go, what was I looking for? Ronin or whatever. My son hijacked my Ronin, my copies of Ronin. So like
they have a trade paperback of that coming out.
I wanted all the singles, and I want the first issue. I want the first run. But anyways, like he hides, so I was like, well, let me go. Anyways, I looked at the deal, and I swear, I promise you guys, like the last year. I mean, I think we've addressed it before, but the quality of books that some of the creators are putting out, dude, they stack up. They stack up with what's at the local comic book shop. And I'm not here to say, oh, get woke, go bro. I'm not into any of that, right? The SJW shit. Like we know what's going on. There's people better at than me. I'm just saying, when you go to LCS, you look at what's new, and and I see what I've got in the mail. I think we did better, like in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially when it comes to DC and Marvel, because DC and Marvel's very hit or miss with a lot of their stuff. And just like the art quality too, it's very like in certain cases it's very amateurish.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm not here to like critique really the mainstream. Is more what I'm talking about, like the quality in CG actually going up, right? So
Yeah.
that's more of my takeaway, because I mean the mainstream's been on a downward trend, and you could debate all day what's what. I don't care, but I feel like, I mean, you could take a few books that we've gotten, especially recently, go to the LC. I should have taken some Comicsgate books with me. You know what I mean? And show, because I keep thinking to do that, and then I never do.
Do you interact with the owner?
Yeah, but his employees are little SJWs, so I don't really interact with them.
Engage.
So if he's there, he's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he's not there, then I don't really. Yeah, it's like I don't engage.
How do you think the store is still surviving? Are
Because
they
he's
going beyond
going.
comics?
Yeah, because he's doing trading cards and shit.
Yeah.
So
Trading cards like baseball, or is there a specific market for like comic books?
Prater says that SJWs are bad. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Pretty much.
I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
Leave your Lone Star on LCS. I do have Lone Star. I should.
Just put it, just randomly just place it there.
Sounds like at MegaCon there were a lot of CG fans.
That was in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Isn't that where Graham was at?
Yeah, Graham and PTP were there.
I think Kenneth is at a con tonight, actually, today. I mean, I think so, isn't he? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in Cali.
Yeah, in California. They have to be surviving on anything but comic, toys, and games. Yeah, well, I mean,
Funko
it is what it is, but then you got to thinking, what is the future of CG or crowdfunding in general? I don't know if it can go. I don't know what were the current model sustainable, because how many people do we know have sustained this model, like repetitively?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking.
Well, I mean,
go
ahead, Eric. No, go ahead, Eric.
No, I don't think we have the data yet, because crowdfunding is still a very new thing. And we're going on probably like 5 years now with CG. And so I don't know. I think to have like an accurate data pool, we need at least like 10 years to see, if this thing is sustainable at all, and to see if there's any consistency.
I mean, there's a few though. I mean, so there's Clint, right? He's got 3 issues of Downcast out.
Yeah, but like three isn't really a big, I like data pool to pull from.
Bro, like all of them put together, that's a lot of pages.
Yeah, it's a lot of pages, but it's 3 products.
Well, I mean, so Joe just brought up somebody. He brought up Polito. Polito's been at this game for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but these are writers too. So is Clint. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, show me that's a good point, but show me an artist. Hell, we have some artists, creators that haven't put anything out in fucking years. In CG. So or I mean, you could go outside of CG, and then we could talk about Liefeld.
Right.
I mean, is it sustainable? I don't know.
I think if you're a creator who, respects the audience, respects their investment in what you're doing, I think you could probably do this for quite a while. But consistency is good, right? Keeping people updated on the progress of books, I think, is huge.
Yes.
I don't know if you can stretch things out to 2 years on a book. I don't know if that's sustainable.
Yeah, so what you wonder is what the next iteration is, right? So I've had this conversation with other people, never on live stream, but you would hope that eventually let's say that we'll take Shane, we'll just take him for instance. Okay, so say he's got all three volumes of a Glorious Rex done. You have somebody like somebody new that wants to put this stuff on bookstores or whatever. There's got to be a way to do that. I mean, you're building a catalog here, you're crowdfunding it, and maybe you have a shot to sell it later, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to find a market for it. I'm not even sure, if brick and mortars are necessarily the future as far as books go, but self-publishing it's good for people that have an established name or have been out there for a while. Self-promoting.
You know what? Maybe I have a different view of this, and maybe I'm totally off base. I think it's necessarily less about like the comic book, but like supporting the artist.
I want to address something. Even the big guys who are taking too long to fulfill are going to start regretting it. Ali, I've heard you say that a few times, and I could name you 2 small creators for every big creator that have problems like coming out in a timely manner. So I don't know. I don't buy into it's the big guys thing at all. So at all. Don't put crap out and then blame the audience when they complain. That's true.
Yeah.
2 years on one book is a bit much. We've gone through that ad nauseum. Okay, go ahead, Vanessa.
So I mean, I think maybe this is more of a kind of like an art patron sort of kind of situation. Back in the day, people who put the aristocracy or whatever, they would support an artist, and that artist would create art for them, right? Obviously, crowdfunding allows just regular people to partake in that, and maybe
like Narwhal?
Yeah, like Narwhal. Like, I'm a patron of Narwhal's. Like, I buy his stuff, right? But that's probably what it's more, I think, maybe more akin to, is that we have a group of people supporting an artist. And I'm not saying the books aren't important. Like, the books are important, right?
Right.
But I think maybe that's what's different from the model based off like the heavy business side, because we hear it all the time, like, oh, you need to get here and you need to get there and you need to do this and that. It's like, you're adding, in some instances, you're adding expenses on the sole proprietors of these businesses. Crowdfunding keeps their business very lean, as long as whoever is the campaign manager or whatever keeps everything under control. You could keep a campaign really lean. You could probably get you get a penciler, inker, colorer, a writer, and maybe an editor. And sometimes a lot of those people are the same people. The only thing that really needs to be outsourced at any given time is the printer. So this model, it's kind of a lean and mean model. And when we're not lean and we're not mean, things happen, which is what we're seeing at all levels throughout Comicsgate. Am I wrong? Am I right? Yeah. Am I wrong? Am I right?
I can definitely see what you mean. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily a cult personality that kind of wins in this situation, but it helps.
Wait, say the song. Do the song real quick. Okay. You're not going to.
I get paid to do that.
Oh,
I'm kidding. Actually, I get paid not to.
I always think of this song when I hear cult of personality.
I know. But I do think there's an advantage that if you can establish a really good YouTube channel that people are attracted to, and you have that sort of interaction with your backers and fans, there is merit in that. But not everybody has that
Mhm.
it factor.
I don't know.
Well-
Like I'm just. I mean, I'm one of the few here. I'm for the books. Like the
Mhm.
cult of personality thing. Like yeah, it's fun. It's fun to watch like dumb videos on YouTube or whatever and have a good time. Sure, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm here for the books. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
again,
views are-
we've addressed this
yeah.
here, but there's a big difference between a backer and a viewer, or a backer or a YouTube sub. Those aren't necessarily the same damn thing, right?
Nope.
So
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, because views are free. Views are free.
Yeah.
Ali says also all agents now want to have an established following of thousands before they'll even consider you. What do you even need agents for? I don't know.
Agents. What are you?
Yeah, I
What are you
think she's
talking about?
talking about if you're trying to get a book published, a lot of times
Oh,
they're not going to take someone that's just starting out. They usually have to have a somewhat of a following.
Prater hates cult of personality with a passion. Skip Edwards says, even if you're good at YouTube, you can't please everyone. So, seems like YouTube makes it harder to cater to a large audience. Maybe. But yeah, like you would think that at some point somebody's going to pick up one of these books.
mhm.
And it's going to be like When the Levee Breaks, you know what I mean? Like I feel like maybe no.
Oh, are you talking about like broader, like somebody breaking
Yeah,
through?
to break through into a broader appeal kind of thing. Maybe, you know, I don't.
I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen, but I think it's near unlikely only because a lot of times these people that own the bookstores or the publishers, you know, they either have their own handful of people that they just basically milk, whether it's a big name or not. But you know, if it's someone like a WB or a Disney or whatever, obviously they have their own IP.
Mhm.
So look, I think if you ask anyone that's involved in publishing, it's a huge, not a gamble. That's not the right word, but I think the odds are very low that you're going to get a book published, much less a second book published. I think that's why it's such a big deal when someone lands, you know, a publishing contract, because it's basically of.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you guys are. I guess I'm not like.
Mhm.
You're going to crowdfund. You're not going to start working for a publisher. I think you're always going to crowdfund. But the difference is now you have, you know, let's take Shane again. Let's say that he gets 5 issues of Starlight Cats done. That's 48 pages an issue, 3 issues of or volumes of Rex or whatever. He has this incredible backlog 4 years from now, let's say.
Mhm.
And this is all good stuff, let's say. Let's just assume it's going to be decent, you know. Like let's just assume at some point somebody's going to come in here and want to do something with that, you would think. Or contact Shane, not come in here, but contact Shane that might want to do something with that, no?
Mhm. Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, okay, crowdfunding doesn't work, let's scrap it. I'm saying
Mhm. Yeah, so you're basically saying some, like hypothetically speaking, some publisher is going to take a look at Shane's backlog and then say it's like, hey, let's produce the Starlight Cats omnibus or something
or
like that.
Graveyard Shift or whatever, or not even. I'm not sure if you can do that, though. You'd have to break it into single issues. I would like almost. I don't know. It's just,
Mhm.
just thoughts. Just thoughts.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible, because especially because all that data is available online, and they could track the success of we'll just say Shane's campaigns. Let's say his next one goes up to like 200. I don't even know what this one was at. What, 240 something thousand. We'll say it goes up to like 300,000, and then his fourth, keeps on seeing consistent growth. That's definitely going to catch the attention of someone, I would think. Especially since a lot of the books that are out right now are pretty stale and bland and struggling.
Ali says lots of musical references tonight. I would tell you, Ali, that like more than half of the titles to these streams are lyrics from a song.
Right.
It's just a song, whatever song I hear that day. Like that's kind of like that goes into the title. Some creators just need to remain mysterious. You have to pitch the book, man. Like that's part of the game. Like also, it's going to depend on if the creator want to get in bed with weasels. That's true. Starlight Cats is prime for a kid show or movie. Definitely a toy line. Well, let's. There are a lot of recent indie books that have gotten huge, and everybody's talking to each other in the chat. If they lost in the noise or can't find a heck of a challenge these days, that's what I'm saying. Like you were saying, Stat, that you need to remain mysterious, but you really can't, right? Like you can't do that.
Yeah. Especially if you're publishing your own stuff. Like you don't have the publisher doing your advertising for you.
But yeah, you figure like this is an iteration. Back when I was in the service, we called it evolution. Like what's the next evolution of this? What is it? Like I don't know. Like you figure we're going to evolve. Like I don't know. Like there's only a few people like that have been that this has been like a sustainable model for, and the guys that are we talk them up quite a bit, do we not? Like on this channel, like so I don't know.
Yeah, if they deviate from a book, I think they could possibly crowdfund. Say it's a 2-hour animated movie or something. They could possibly crowdfund that. That could be an approach. But you think what 5-6 people in some cases to do a book. I can't imagine how many people would be involved in a animated feature.
Well, here it is. I mean, we tell everybody. We don't tell everybody, but the models lay it out, right? It's like you got a YouTube, you got to do all this, but when you boil it, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of work, man.
Yeah,
like it's
definitely
a lot of work. I don't think people understand. It can be. I mean, I've seen creators put in 16-hour days before, and I don't mean one off. I mean multiple days, 16-hour days.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean at some point, you know what I mean? Like, how in the hell is that sustainable?
I agree. It's tough. I think everyone should start a YouTube channel at least once. That way you definitely get a taste of what's involved in it.
What, the YouTube? Well, you just don't go live on Saturday when you're supposed to. Well, I forgot where it was, but Statistical Zero was saying how it takes minutes to destroy your channel. It takes like 3 seconds. I did it.
Right.
Yep. Just got to press one button, right?
One button. That's all it takes. Smart RN says not CG, but my buddy Nick Batara.
Oh yeah.
Batara's book Axe Wielder John is blowing up on Zoop. The EVS shouted him out. I'm back. There you go. We don't really do that on Saturday. 1 or 2 people fund the production of a book, then sell it. Well, I mean, you could have a book. Well, it gets hairy though.
Like an investor or something.
I'll say why it gets hairy. Let me catch up with the chat. I think the crowdfunding missed a ton of business by not pursuing individual stores more. Supposedly, I don't care about the LCS. I'm talking about Barnes and Nobles. Like, I don't, dude. I think LCS is dead. Like, I went in this week and I haven't been in there in like over 6 months. And yeah, I don't think they're ever coming back, Prater. So I'm not talking about LCS. We're talking about Barnes and Nobles or whatever you have in your area. not quite a publishing firm, but individual crowdfunding. Mysterious as in just sticking to talking comics or movies or whatever. The more stuff like politics talked on these shows, the bigger the chance for the creator. Seeing a lot of politic talk lately. We were just touching on that before the show. We could talk about that here in a minute. Barnes and Nobles is barely hanging on. Whatever. I mean, whatever bookstore, I don't know what bookstores are.
Well, I mean, Barnes and Noble has more brand recognition than Captain Comics or whatever
Furry Dog Comics.
Yeah, whatever your comic book store is, and they have a web presence. So,
my Barnes and Noble's always packed, always.
Yeah, mine is too.
Maybe it's because we're in like boring states, and that's what we do is read.
I mean, yeah, that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Oh, should we talk about this? Who was talking about that this morning before we started up?
Oh, that was me yesterday.
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Go ahead. Let's get into it.
So I was watching Ballers, and then the Ballers went on another stream, which will remain nameless for this example. So I went into that other stream waiting for them to show up, and it was they were talking about how Disney is evil, and yay Florida and go DeSantis. And my thing is, I think a lot of this politic talk is because people are not putting their books out and they don't have anything to talk about. So they have to come up with something. And what frustrated me about that conversation is that it was during a closeout. And my opinion about closeouts is that it should be happy-go-lucky. Everybody should be laughing and having a good time, not having a downer conversation when you're trying to make somebody money. So that was just my opinion on it. It gets tired after a while, especially I think we're all reasonably intelligent adults. We could probably figure out what somebody's political, leanings are after talking to them a couple times about politics. You'll be like, hey, okay, this is where that person stands. So that particular streamer has been talking about politics a lot. So it's like, I could locate you with a, I have your longitude and latitude, and I could probably get within 6 feet of you. We don't need to have these conversations anymore.
Yeah.
Am I the only one getting bored about it? Because I know John.
No, I mean, I've been tired of the politics for a good while now.
John's saying that politics kills the spirit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, not only all right. So the politics are bad in a few ways. First of all, you're excluding half of half of your potential audience. It's what you're doing in essence. Like, you're just going to piss somebody off. Do you want to piss 50% of the people off? I mean, that's fine. That's cool. But that's what you're at risk of alienating. Well, I'd say it's less than half, but not much less than half. We'll just call it half. Half, like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah. It's kind of like the old salesman motto is that, you can talk about politics and you may win the argument, but you're possibly going to lose a sale. And it's one of those things that, I don't know, me personally, I mean, I don't want to go to, a CG stream or a comic book stream or something to get my politics. And personally, I try to avoid as much as possible. But part of that escape are these streams. So no, I totally get it, Vanessa. I didn't see these streams that you're talking about, but I know they're out there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we've just forgotten how to hang out and have a good time. Like we have to have the same talking points, that we had 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. Like, but I feel like the most memorable. Nobody ever said, "Oh, did you watch that stream where like Like we talked about fucking politics for 3 hours. Nobody talks about that stream. You know what I mean? That's not a memorable stream. So I don't understand why that's like a fallback.
Is it? I just view it as it's low hanging fruit. You already know that most of your audience is attuned to this stuff, and that's what kind of catches the algorithm on
Cult
YouTube.
of personality. All right, keep going, Eric.
Sorry.
Don't make him close the tab.
Keep going, Eric.
You're gonna drive them away, man. Yeah, I feel like it's just like what Vanessa said. Like these guys they're late on their books. Don't really have much to talk about. They're lying about what they're producing, and they're just pulling the low hanging fruit. Let's talk about Disney being the devil and all that bull crap. Get people, smoke screened and thinking about that stuff instead of this freaking book that he's supposed to be pushing out. Or at least talk about other creators' books too, man. Because that's one thing that always just irks me is like there's how many comic book campaigns in CG, and you can't pull those up. You can't really talk to them instead of talking about this bullcrap.
No, well, if we're talking about the same person, no, we can't. No, because then it's like, well, how come you talked about him and not me? No, dude, he can't. No.
Right, like there's a time when people got to stop worrying about like the little peanut galleries and all that stuff, and just really just talk about comics, man.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Johnny says, I just close a tab whenever the topic of politics comes up. It's not when I come to these online circles for. Mashugel says, political crap is why I've been watching 25%-ish. That's a very 7 of 9 thing. Of the bigger streams. We're not... well, I mean, we're not really talking politics.
Oh, he got us.
I know.
There's more channel growth on politics or culture war than there is in the love of comics. Well, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true, but I mean, that's the thing though. It's do you want YouTube views or do you want backers? Like I'm seeing that they're not I think this year it's been really evident that they're not the same thing.
I'm not here to discuss politics or listen to other people to discuss politics. I actually, with Facebook, I used to be big into Facebook, and then, COVID and politics and all that stuff. I'm barely on Facebook anymore, and it's like I'm on Twitter and I'm in CG, and, is it going to become all political and stuff? And I think I hit it at the right time because it wasn't so anti-SJW when I came in. It was definitely like, people talking about their books, getting the nose to the grind to create their books and promote their books. And, I like being the cheerleader for the people that are doing it right, and that's what I like talking about. And I like talking about it. I like learning about it. I'm like, that's what I'm here for. I want the good stories and hopefully people will succeed. Not politics.
And you know what? I can appreciate kind of the kind of grayness that Comicsgate has with politics, because part of Comicsgate is the culture war. Like we're a part of that, right? But I mean, let's be honest. Like the mainstream hasn't been really coming hard at Comicsgate since COVID started, because they're all worried about their jobs. So that again, that's another evolution of Comicsgate. But like, what are we when we're not constantly fighting the man all the damn time?
Right.
Yeah.
Prater says, I also turn off video when certain creators basically virtue signal about how they've taken their stand in regards to politics. Yeah. I don't mind if politics occasionally... Henry Bemis, what's up? Hello. I don't mind if a politics occasionally comes up, but people are going to leave if they're being ostracized. Dude, we've ostracized half of the friggin' people.
Yep.
Right. Touch on it and move. The closeouts are for like Fire Tonight and Laughing and not politics.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, look, those are the feel good streams that you always remember. That's why you'd want to keep coming back to those streams. Like I would watch the YouTube for that. for that.
I don't know about that clip though.
No, I'm just
Not a
saying for
fan.
like
What clip?
the feel good.
Like Fire Tonight.
Oh no, no.
I think he's.
I'd rather him
referencing
talk
a clip.
about politics.
Oh no, I think isn't that the one with like
No,
the
he said
guy
he
and the
does-
two ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the feel good vibes, and for
Sure.
I mean, and Flint Flossie's a much better example than. That's when we were hitting on all cylinders. I don't mind the politics as the stream is about, but if it's supposed to be about comics or art, I don't want politics. The drunk streams, I think, are bringing in viewers. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Personally, I don't like them, but I tend to have very different tastes than other people.
Yeah, I think there's this like great myth that like you have to be drunk to have fun, and like,
Right.
I mean,
Just a different
you
kind
have
of fun.
you have to be wearing a Musashi to have fun. Hashtag Sumo Shane. Hashtag never forget.
yeah, he was stone cold friggin' sober too. Let's not remember.
That was normal shit.
No, that was not normal Shane. I think maybe like 1% of CG knows what normal Shane is. 90% of comics creators could care less about CG. Those people want clicks too. Again, the opposition. 90% of comics creators could care less about CG. Those people want clicks too. Again, opposition wants culture war points. It's horrible song. Oh, yeah. The gun. I don't like it. I can't handle it. And I've lived in Europe. I know that's what they actually listen to that kind of shit. I can't handle it. Or should I say the party streams are bringing in viewers. Might not translate to backers. The actual streams about comics have more of a fight. You allude. I mean, look, there's very few. A stat. I feel you, but like Graham will fire on and he'll talk comics and he'll get 40 or 50 people in there, and they're I mean, it is what it is. So like you have to balance it, right? We used to balance. I feel like we used to balance, and now we don't balance. We don't have as much balance anymore. It wasn't just sure we would have the streams where it's just like, oh boy, we all hate something. We're going to talk about what we hate for 4 hours, but then you'd have like what we loved, a couple of hours on what we loved, but we're not getting that balance anymore. Am I wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I really haven't been tuning into streams as often. Especially the larger streams. Like I try to catch all the Graham's streams when he does them, and Alternas, and I was in Red Valkyrie's stream today too. Their stuff is pretty positive most of the time, but as far as Ethan, I can't really deal with, or not deal with, but I can't really stomach Ethan's stuff right now.
It's not just Ethan though. Like there's there's a lot that I've just turned. I needed to unplug kind of thing. Yeah. And then there was a couple of good streams back 2 years ago, maybe longer, where off the cuff, like let's get to Ethan. Remember Ethan couldn't believe Shane was about to when the sumo thing, Vanessa. Remember, Ethan's like, "You're going to do what?" And it's like, Ethan, you were dressed up as Jabba the Hutt singing "Daddy Can't Rape Us All" on YouTube, man. Like,
I remember.
What are you talking about? Like, there's plenty of balance, says Jim Cox. I don't watch the party streams, honestly. Sometimes they depress me seeing the creators drooling, crying, and falling out of their chairs. I don't mind it every once in a while. I don't like the chasing it kind of thing. I like it when it comes. You know what I mean? When it's just happens.
Well, I mean that's why, and I'm sure there's other people in the chat that like this channel. Comicsgate is Comicsgate, where it's kind of like a time capsule of like all the good times and like clips, because there were some jokes that he pulled, or whoever runs that channel pulled from the Jack show that was like, I remember that, like Cecil's whale joke on EVS, that was hilarious.
I don't think I heard that one.
Yeah, he was. So Ethan was wearing some like long wig, and they're talking about like what Ethan looked like when he was a bigger man. And they like pulled up his picture of when he was 28 or 29, and he was like, "Yeah, I was living in Orlando at that time." And then they pulled up his he was in a commercial for a gym in like North Carolina or something. Yeah, so they pulled that up.
Yeah.
And then like Cecil was asking about it. He was like, you trained in Florida? And he was like, no, that was in North Carolina. He was like, but you lived in Orlando, right? He was like, yeah, didn't you train at SeaWorld or something along that line? I was like, oh my God. That was a great joke. And like shut down, like everybody stopped in the Jack show, like stopped, like absorbed that joke and just started cracking up.
Yeah.
I almost died watching that. But yeah. And my thing is like maybe I'm the only one, but I kind of miss that.
Sure.
That's what exactly
like these like feel good moments, like just either launching either launching somebody like I remember when Fraga launched Black Flag, and when he made his funding goal in less than 4 minutes, and that's a sensitive cat, and he was tearing up, right? Like I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember when Ethan launched Wreck Planet. I remember
I feel
that.
like a lot of these feel good moments now are kind of more like spread out amongst the smaller channels. Because like we just had a huge launch with Joe Sontag on
yeah, that was that was good.
What's his name's channel? I'm having a brain fart. Bancroft. On Bancroft's channel.
Whatever, that
was
Aussie,
huge.
that Aussie down there.
Yeah.
He's whatever the hell he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, but Joe, look, Joe, I'm not giving Bancroft credit for that actually, because you know what, Joe's done everything right. You know, I mean, Joe's been everywhere. Yeah. Joe's been streaming regularly. Joe, everything that we said you need to do, Joe's fucking done. And done it in spades. So like there's a lot of times where somebody will go on a Bancroft show and yeah, they get that Bancroft bump or whatever and get a few grand. That's fine. What Joe did is on Joe. Like Joe gets all the credit in my book.
Yeah.
So
and I think the most genius move that he pulled was doing that ash can. And because that ash can, I felt like primed a lot of people into buying his stuff. Because he literally just gave us a preview of his book. Like, I think it's the first 8 pages or so. And I hope other creators do that. Kind of give us a taste of things to come. Because like that was a great marketing strategy, in my opinion. But yeah, but like the feel good moments, they're being like spread out amongst these other channels. And I really haven't seen him much on EVS when he does stream, but I don't really watch his streams all the way through anymore, so I don't know too much what's going on in there.
Well, I mean, they're like 7 hours long, so there's that too. I'm gonna go hit Joe M. Sontag, who's like, I ripped that idea off Justin Timberlake, but I'll take all the credit for it. All right, we'll let Justin know.
Yeah,
yeah, because Sean did that too. With Type 1.
Yeah, that's a smart marketing strategy, man.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
I wonder if like we've those feel good streams we're talking about, and everybody's like, well, you can go to these smaller channels. That's fine, I get it, you know. But like a lot of the smaller books don't appeal to me, you know, and some of them do, you know. And I go to those, like I'll go into Shelby's chat or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll go support, but I'm not going to go. Look, for me, YouTube serves the books. The books don't serve you. I'm not going to the books come first, right? For me. So
yeah,
that's the way it works for me. But I wonder if the feel good streams, like on the bigger channels, let's say, they converted YouTube viewers to backers, and now that's just not happening anymore. So people are just like hanging out on YouTube and not back. I don't know, but the vibe is definitely different. I feel like, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Books are getting backed though.
Well, I mean, somebody put this out, and it was one of a Comicsgate detractor saying that we're not raising as much as we did previously, and quite frankly, they're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think
there's
books are getting
no
back. Yeah, Joe was like Reaper Destroyer was an outlier. I feel like
Yeah.
it bucks the trend. Vanessa, right?
Well, I mean, here's Creator Go exist, right? So we could look at 2020 if my internet will go, and I'll share my freaking doggone screen. Don't share these tips again. I want screen 2. Thank you very much.
I only share my tip with one person.
Ew.
Whoa.
Well, I mean,
Zing.
she's called wifey. So like, okay, so 2020 we made $5.9 million, right? So let me go 20 million. 2021 we made 4.8. So like close, but and then 5.7 with like other campaigns that were launched the previous year that was still, still in some form of demand. So now we go to this year, and be mindful, it's towards the end of freaking May. It's towards the end of May. Through. Yeah, we're almost halfway through. 1.4 mil with 2.73 mil with like all the campaigns that are still in demand.
Yeah.
People have a point,
Well, Ethan hasn't launched anything this year. At least he hasn't launched any books or new IPs this year. And I feel like that's always a huge chunk of CG backings. Because you had Cyberfrog 2 was like 1.2 million. Rainbow the Brute was through 300,000 or something like that.
It was it was like high fours.
And then he had another one. I think he had 2 others. Yeah, the Warts and All. And then Unforgotten.
That was part of Warts and All. No, that wasn't its own campaign.
No, there was the Unforgettable Tales campaign.
Unforgettable Tales, was that a campaign, or that was a few years ago though? That was the first campaign was years ago, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, you're to your point though, Ethan. I mean, so this year, look, you have to put out books to launch books. So we don't, who knows if we're getting a Cecil campaign? Who knows if we're getting like we could look at who we're not going to get. We could look at the numbers. We could say we're halfway through the year, if they're at print yet, how big the run is. What do we think that? No, I mean, we may not even get a Godlike 2 or an Inglorious, right? This could be a rough year.
Yep.
And everybody's like, you should go to the smaller channels. Well, I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to segue into another idea, but go ahead. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Well, I mean, here, people have a point, and Skip has this point too. Like, some people are going through some shit right now, right? 560, my guy. God, oh, that hurts.
Yep.
Yeah, but some people are going through some things right now, which is 100% fair. But the thing is, and it's not just Ethan, but we'll say the upper echelon, right? When those guys fulfill and launch, it's more of a community event, right? Like, because
the rising tide lifts all ships, man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's a community thing also, because like those upper echelons, a larger percentage of Comicsgate goes in on them versus like the people who are coming up. So when we're missing that, we're also missing that overall excitement, because I remember when the first Cyberfrog fulfilled, and it wasn't shit, and the quality was good, and everybody was happy. Like, I remember the excitement of CG that was floating around, and how like everybody was demanding the second one and like launch it, Ethan, launch it now. I remember all of that, right? And we haven't had anything like that this calendar year. So yeah,
not to that extent, I
Yeah.
mean, there's been books that come out that made me feel like, oh yeah, like, oh, can't wait for the next
yeah,
one or whatever.
we can't sleep on Groken. I
Right,
apologize.
or Groken, or even like
Yeah.
I would feel like Starlight Cast for Shane, like, dude, like, Glorious Rex went fucking nuts.
Yeah, that was
Like,
last year.
well, I know, but it's still relatively, recently. So it's within the calendar year, right? So, but yeah, nothing to that extent for sure. I would agree with you. I'm arguing semantics.
Yeah.
Stat says landscape is different. Might have affected Ethan and Cecil from there. I was just using examples. You could pull up whatever creator. It doesn't matter. Like, Henry Beeman says my grocery bill is up $50 a week. That's 2 CG books I could be backing.
Yep. Yeah, and that's a real thing to consider with all this is, our economy is doing some funky stuff right now. And but this was another thing I was thinking about too, because like how and this is just purely like reflecting off the mainstream. Usually book sales, they go on a downward trend the further into the series that you get. And historically, I guess like typically CG kind of had the opposite effect, but I'm wondering if we've reached that like tip of the bell curve, and if we're starting to see that downward trend with some of these IPs.
Well, I mean, unfortunately,
we have no data for that though.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there's not a lot of IPs who are deep. Because even like if you mention Clint Stoker and like a Downcast, he's only 3 in. That's not really a lot. I mean, we'll see. That's the kind of the interesting thing about this game is like there's so many variables that are going on.
Yep. And it's still a very fresh and new thing too.
I just find it all like, okay, so we get Julie here, right? And she says, everyone is so hesitant to launch before books are nearly done, well on their way out before people aren't launching because they want to wait until like a lot of the book is done. Why would they want to do that?
Well, I mean, and again, I go back and forth with this too, because at the end of the day, it comes down to time management. Unfortunately, a lot of CG creators are not full-time, right?
Right.
Because I think if you're full-time, I think 12 months after the funding period, so we'll officially call it 13 months, 2 months to fund, and then the rest of the time to finish your book. I think that's fair to turn around a book, right? But like, for example, Bancroft, he's going to be launching a book soon. Like, he has a full-time job. A lot of people in CG still have full-time jobs, so I can understand why they want to have stuff done first, because at the end of the day, it comes down to time management.
Yeah.
I don't think any of this has to do with like the late books like scaring the shit out of them, like that they want to have it up front so there's no way they're going to be late. You don't think that has anything to do with it?
Well, I mean, that's a function of time management, right? That's an example of poor time management is all the late books.
No. I'm not asking to dissect the late books. I'm saying I don't want to be late, so I'm going to have a majority of this shit done before I launch. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. I've heard creators say pretty much exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a priorities thing. If you're a creator and you're wanting to really make a go at this and not drag something out, I don't know. I guess if I think of it from a creator standpoint, it would be a matter of putting a product out. If it's just one book, then you may want to take 2 years. But if it's something that you want to consistently put out in order to actually make a powerful go at it, there's a lot of considerations, and one of those is being timely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're not going to be able to see like data on how things shake out. Like we've been saying, there's no data like to see. Yaki says, I think there needs to be some downtime to produce things. Silence on YouTube isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
No,
but too much
I
silence
agree.
it kind of takes the excitement away, and
Oh,
people forget that you even exist.
well, I mean, I think a lot of the like let's circle back. All right. So we're saying like we're tired of the politics and we're tired of whatever else, but when we're streaming 5 or 6 hours a day, like 7 days a week, you're starved for content, right?
Yeah.
So like that stuff probably has to come up.
Hmm.
Used to be like you would look forward to these streams. It'd be like, oh, Ethan, maybe he fires up 2 or 3 times a week. You look forward to it. But now, like everybody's like, okay, we got the Jack show, we got the Ballers show, we got Kings. It's oversaturation. I mean, it's not you. Is there anything looking? You don't look forward to it as much, or you're not pleasantly surprised. I would say.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's only oversaturation because it's catering to a same audience instead of trying to pull in a new audience.
Hmm.
And I think that's where kind of
You're gonna have to explain that.
so there's a ton of people who believe what we believe, and as far as corporate comics and how they have treated fans and some creators, right? There's probably a ton more that do not know about Comicsgate, right? And here we are, we get kind of insulated in our little corner, which is 100% fine. Like my Twitter is very curated.
Hmm.
I remember I'm not here to fight. Like some people like warring with the SJ dubs. I don't got time for that nonsense. So
Nope.
Yeah.
Every
um
once in a while, I'll creep out there and do that, but
Hmm.
not usually.
yeah, like I mean, some people are, totally internet fighters. I don't got time for that. I'm busy.
Mm.
So shut up, Leroy. Um, so there's that component where we could be very insulated, and then we're in YouTube. Granted, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, but it's also the second largest search engine in the world. So how do you kind of get yourself out there and try to bring other eyes, outside eyes to you? And to my estimation, there's only really one person in Comicsgate that's doing that right now. Um, you know what, to be fair, there's other people too who are like trying to cross pollinate with other audiences, like PTP's trying to reach out to the toy people, and Mandy was doing
See
Midnight
you later,
Edge
Predator.
stuff.
Yeah.
What's up? So but we don't necessarily have a large cadre of CG creators who are like, okay, part of our model is that we're going to put ourselves out there and try to get new eyeballs onto me, and by getting new eyes on me, hopefully I can get new eyes into CG. Like I
Hmm.
am going to be the funnel into this network, right? And I mean, a lot of people came to CG via Ethan when he was doing all the high cancel stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But I've noticed that CG's kind of insulated like that, and maybe that's why we feel like this is oversaturating, because like it's appealing to the CG audience that is here. There may be a CG audience that is not here yet.
Yeah. I believe that 1,000%. And one thing, one thing I also believe, I don't know how true it is because, like I don't know these people's decisions, but I think CG would largely benefit off people like really learning how to market their stuff on social media, like taking the being proactive enough, take some marketing classes, social media classes, and all that type of stuff to really get your channel out there, get your products out there, and see what happens. Because there's literal classes that successful social media moguls give that teach them that teach people the intricacies of
Oh
promoting
yeah,
your social media stuff.
I don't know what that they're about. All look, dude, we're gonna sit here and talk about politics for like, dude, like I don't know, like maybe Eric, but I feel like as soon as you get new people in like that, we run them off because we're talking politics. Stat O says, I agree. It's great to see creators, maybe a bit less sometimes. I always talk about the oversaturation, but then again, that's what replays for as far as I'm concerned. I'm watching a bit less and living a bit more these days.
Didn't you get caught by a replay, Leroy?
Cut? What?
Caught by a replay or
What's
premiere? A premiere video?
Oh yeah, Shane. Yeah. I wasted some straight fire in that chat too. I wasn't happy. I don't like engaging the edgelords or the strife stirrers. Every once in a while, like I like to watch what Yanzi's stirring up, and maybe I'll go engage every once in a while because she's pretty good at finding like people to troll.
Yeah.
Trouble is manga is so dang cheap. Oh yeah, that's it. Let me find some person. What's up, some person? People keep talking about comic fans turning to manga in droves because Marvel and DC sucks now. That's an audience CG can attract. You know what? Like this is going to be pretty heretical to a lot of CGers, but we need to be talking about why manga sucks and talking about how great it is. Like, are we trying to sell why? Okay, we're like the way we address it collectively is like manga. Yeah, comics sucks. Manga's much better. Well, yeah, we're helping that by our own marketing, like the way we talk.
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No. We really need
hate manga.
Yeah. I like it, but but there is like there are very strong things that manga does, and then there are other strong things that Western comics do that manga doesn't.
Color.
And colors, but I feel like the most of the Western panel layouts are much more creative and superior in many ways.
Yeah, and we draw faces, which is great.
Right.
Yeah. Not everyone looks like they're a 12-year-old female.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest con about manga, and it is freaking strange because I've read a couple just to see what the kids are doing, but you're literally reading English freaking backwards, like you're breaking your mind so you can freaking read this thing, in a Japanese format with no Japanese in there. It's like, this is freaking ridiculous. Like we should be bringing people back to mainstream comics just off the basis like, hey, this is for freaking made by English readers for English readers. Come here.
Yeah. And that's what we got to talk about, like the differences of that stuff too, man. Because like one thing that manga does that Western comics kind of got away of is the freaking dialogue. A lot of Western comics are just full of freaking words, and manga, their stuff is condensed, and like you maybe will have 2 sentences in a word bubble in manga, but in a lot of Western stuff, you got full on freaking paragraphs bleeding into just covering a bunch of the artwork and all that stuff, and it becomes kind of like a chore.
Well, what I'm saying is like it doesn't have to be DC, Marvel sucks, or manga sucks. No, they both fucking suck. Like that's why you should be over here, right? Like it's not. Yeah. They both can suck. Like I don't understand like why one sucks, the other. No, they both suck. Let's be real. Sorry, Eric.
Well, I think right now they're talking about in sales, how it's sort of dominating the American market. I think the other lure is that isn't it usually one creator who does the book?
I don't know. I'm not getting into manga, dude. We're done. We're moving on. Dude, I'm serious. Like the word
it's not so much
like, but Western comics, we have that type of flavor. Like you look at Image, you have what's his name doing Savage, that's been doing Savage Dragon since God knows when. Todd McFarlane with Spawn, and he'll bring in different writers every here and there, but it's still like his baby. He lays out the direction for it. It's really mostly just DC and Marvel that does that funky stuff, where like every 5 issues we get a whole new creative team, and then we got a reboot, and we're gonna turn this
I
guy
know,
gay
yeah.
and all that stuff.
We're veering off into bitching about DC and Marvel. I don't like to do that here. We all know, but my point is they could both they can both suck. They could both suck, and like for us to sit here and say, "Well, manga's better," like we're killing ourselves. Like saying, like we better be talking about why we're better than DC and Marvel, and talk about why we're better than manga while we're at it. You know, instead of like seeding the ground to the little Japanese big eyed schoolgirl with her hand over lip giggling with tentacles wrapped around her legs. Like,
well, I mean, it's especially when you factor. Well, I mean, especially when you factor in like how manga came to be. It was a Japanese guy copying Walt Disney, and I thought we hated Disney right now, so this should be an easy little jump.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make the logical leap.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all the CG weeps. All 3 of them are gonna be bad.
There's a lot. Kyung's gonna be pissed because I actually like his book. Actually, like he's gonna be pissed if he hears this. Well, Kyung
He'll get over it.
I'm not a weeb.
Yeah. Kyung gets a waiver.
It all depends. Oh, like okay, so we could come up here. What somebody said. Oh, wait, what was there? Jav. Manga may be cheap, but weebs. No, that's not it. They were talking about. Damn it! I lost the chat. But anyways, they were saying how you can get manga for cheaper than $35. Okay, so I think it was Stano, $35 for. But that is a strength of this model. Actually, is like you could sell yourself a little bit. Now, I wouldn't just rely on that, but I mean there is that interaction. You know what I mean? Like there is that little personal touch. You know, so.
Mm-hmm.
That goes along with what we're doing over here. So,
well, I mean that's what we were saying. What, like a year or a year and a half ago? But like this is better than a con. Like how many places? Because what in a con maybe you get like 15 minutes of their time. But now,
I don't know, dude. I think that the Jack Show and the Ballers, that kind of shit, is poison to what you're talking about, though. That interaction. Like those kind of shows are fucking poison to that community aspect of it. Like it's
I mean, poison. I think it's poison if it's the only thing that's happening for the people who are a part of those shows.
Bro, those are the 3 biggest CG streams of the week. Those are the 3 those are the 3 things. Like I mean you got the Ballers, you got the Jack Show, and then you have Kings. None of them are based on what you're talking about. Like they're all 3 kind of poison to what you mean. Like all that, Like these streams, we can call them variety streams or whatever. Like, dude, I don't think they're good. Like, I don't think that's not necessarily entertaining. They're not engaging. They're not interactive. None of it.
Yep. It feels more like an after party than anything. Those type of streams.
You might say, well, Leroy, you go on with Shane and you act like but dude, I pull the chat and I feel like I try my hardest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why we're laughing at something or whatever. But the whole thing is not for us to act like fucking clowns. It's to laugh at something together. It's to do it together with the chat involved. The Ballers, the Jack Show, they're not doing that. Even the Kings is not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vanessa, you watch those shows like am I off?
No. That's why I'm quiet. It's like, no. And you know what? I think the thing that hurts us too is that those things are scheduled. Like, and again, like I'm for having a scheduled stream. But yeah, when you don't have a palate cleanse stream after that, then I could see. I 100% see what you're saying.
Well, it's not communal. Like I hate, I know some people hate the word community. I'm kind of with that, but I mean, we are a community. It doesn't matter. But those are community buildings, like community building streams. And when your three biggest streams are not community building streams, none of the three of them are. There's a problem. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
there is an issue. And I mean, we have been skirting around it for a while, saying like, hey, we kind of want this or want that, but like I think those streams, when you have them every night of the week, and that's where all the attention are, they're freaking poison. And then they do draw away from streams that do try to, like, maybe Aaron's on, or whatever, and he's trying to do a little community building or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're on it. Because like those degeneracy streams, like they're very niche. And I feel like they push away a lot of like potential customers or people that might be initially attracted to CG. Because man, like when you're attempting to pull new people in, like you got a very short time of selling yourself to those people. Like when your most popular streams or your most reoccurring streams is you being a drunk jackass, like that only some people might stick around for that.
Moromi's in the house. What is up? Everybody's hoping he's at MegaCon, so there you go. Jav's talking about why I don't have the manga audience. Oh, dude, like, if this is new to you that I'm not into manga, then this old news, buddy. Henry says, turns out the linchpin of the Jack show was Kelsey. Who knew? Aaron and Graham do a lot of good comic show work, Billy, and I catch them the most. I can't just watch that either, Stat. I can't. Like, I have to have the goofing off too. I just can't be serious comic talk all the time, but there has to be a balance, and there is no balance right now. Being around drunks just isn't that much fun.
Yep.
Yeah. There's always that guy, he wants to do, like, he's already had too much, right, Eric? And then he's like, let me do a keg stand. And you're like, no.
Right.
So then he finds somebody, you're not going to help him and lift him up. So he goes, and then, like, and then, like, 5 minutes later, he's puking on somebody. That's the guy,
Yeah.
Slap Mountain brings the balance, I say. There you go. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Hail Tika. Or Tekka.
Tekka.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, and I know you could watch smaller streams. I get it, because people are going to, like, tell me that, but that's not why I'm here. I used to, like, the bigger guys used to pull that off. You didn't have to go to the small streams for that kind of stuff, right? Like,
yeah, and I think it's grown a little too. I think that's why some people are finding these smaller channels and sort of getting that as their outlet for this, because the bigger ones aren't providing it.
I've always been a fan of the smaller streams versus the bigger ones.
That's because you win stuff all the time.
That's quote win unquote.
No, I don't know. I like the, I don't know, just talking to people in the chat. Sometimes when you get in those the big ones, the chat goes a little too fast and it's not as interesting. And then, like you're pointing out earlier, that sometimes when you get the larger chats, the person running the stream doesn't pull comments from the chat as much, and it's definitely right. Like, you want to feel like you're part of what you're watching. That's one of the benefits of being in this awesome community.
Yep.
Amazing
community. We'll use that word.
Leroy, you hitch your wagon to 3 horses and want the balance to come to you. You're partly right. I mean, yeah, you could tell me to go spread my wings, but I have to like the book too, man. Like that's the thing. Like right. So there you go. I don't care. Like it could be a big stream as long as it's just. I feel like I can't put my thumb on. Oh, I feel like I did earlier actually. Shane had Shane's been working on his book, Henry. That's what he's been doing. So I mean, it can't all rest on him. I agree. Bigger's not always better. So that begs the question: what's the perfect amount of people in the chat? Well, for me, it's no more than 50.
If it gets beyond 50, he's shutting it down.
Yeah, I'll shut the shit down.
In the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'll echo Amanda. Been saying that for a while now. South of 150 to 100 viewers is pretty good.
But to that, not that, but my point earlier, there's also some small channels that will have like 5 people in chat, and it does depend upon who's running the channel, because you can have people that are there with 5 people, and there's just a conversation between those on the panel, and then they're finally pulling your conversation or your comment up 5 minutes later or something like that. So it's definitely more of a who's running the channel, not necessarily small versus big.
There's been streams, Vanessa, I've done with Shane, right?
Yeah.
That I watched a replay and I can't listen to myself. Like I can't. So I mute it and I just watch the chat. I will rewatch the entire stream just to watch the chat. Because it's so freaking hilarious. That's how like people if you have the right topic or whatever, the chat, like it's great. Like they have you rolling most of the time. Movement or community, and I don't think we're beyond being a movement, Leandro. I think we were a movement 3 years ago. I think Kenneth, Eddie Winkler, and Kim Wasabi have out the best books, whether the money reflects it or not. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with one. What people are statistical 0. The bigger the streams, might as well be watched on replay. Same interaction. You can.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't. You can make a big stream interactive. Like I disagree. We just forgot how somehow. Like I feel like.
Well, I mean, so I watch a. Well, I don't watch. I listen to it as like background noise, like a gamer who streams during the day, during my work day. And he'll have like 20,000 people, but he interacts with his chat. So it can be done.
Yeah.
She likes the pew pew going off in the background.
Pew pew. Yeah. And when you think about what my job is, it's actually pretty freaking hilarious.
That's where Vanessa's not like friggin' in streams. She's playing Call of Duty now. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's small channels that are absolutely terrible about reading the chat. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. All right, it's 10:30 Central.
Okay.
Should we bring up sandwiches?
Sure.
Let's do it.
I got a long day, dude. There's a double header on tomorrow. I'm watching all of it, all 18 innings. Yeah, I'm going for it. Oh, Vanessa's doing it. Okay. Yeah.
I hear it clicking.
Why is Vanessa doing it?
Oh, I thought you were going to do sandwiches. Oh, you do the poll.
That's
right.
I do the poll.
Okay. All right.
Although Jav talks about how Rikita keeps up with super chats even hours later, it drives me nuts how Cecil handles it. I'm not 100% sure how Cecil handles it, but I think it is kind of. I understand that a lot of people get super chats and they need to read the super chats, but I find it. I don't know. I groan when I hear all the super chats at the end, because a lot of the comments that people are making is because of the points during the conversation that it happens. So when they're reading it later, it's like they're just reading it to say thank you for the money, but not necessarily input it as part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know it's got to be tricky. I mean, that's something that needs a balance. I agree. If you gave a super chat, it's usually because it's related to what you are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess there's an obligation they feel.
It's unfortunate that they have to like save everything to the end, but I suppose when you get like 100 super chats,
Right.
how are you going to keep up with it? But yeah.
I think when during closes and launches, I was talking to somebody else. If I was a bigger channel and I was having somebody on for a closeout or a launch, I would turn super chats off. Be like, don't.
Oh yeah, back the book. Yeah,
back the book.
Back
the book. That's
Can you turn that off and on to whatever stream, like
I
individual
think
stream?
you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a good experiment.
And a good way to funnel the money towards backing the book.
All right, what do you got, Amanda?
So this I made ham the day before so I could do the sandwich. So it's like a roasted ham or boiled ham or however you guys want to call it. Cut off, but then there's bacon, fried egg, and mozzarella cheese on a toasted croissant.
Wow.
Right.
That looks great.
Yeah, Esther Zombie kind of has that. Like that's when I go in and I stream with like Shane or whoever, maybe Eric or whoever. Like that's what I do is I keep my eye on the chat and pull in relevant comments. I don't care if they're super chats or not. But yeah, somebody handling the chat in general, like while you're streaming, is absolutely critical. I think for a good stream. Cecil used to be really good at that, and you guys in the chat are going to laugh at me, but I'm telling you, he used to be on it. There you go. So if I don't know why you would need bacon and ham,
Just
you did
extra meat.
all the pig.
I don't understand cream cheese and guacamole either.
Yeah,
It's not guac. It's just avocado that's smashed. There's no
I can see
onions
it.
in there.
That's a lot of cream cheese.
Yeah, that's like a dog with peanut butter. Like that's what that feels like to me right there.
It was delicious. There were no complaints.
I'd be walking around like my boxer like into the peanut butter jar, like looking ridiculous.
Although I have to say the tomato, like I like the idea of the tomato being on it, but once it was smashed, it does not do the sandwich.
I was hopeful when I
Like, what
first
is
saw
that?
this. I thought it was cherry peppers, but it wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. I bet it tasted really good.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Like I said, I received no complaints.
Nobody complained about our sandwich, Leroy.
Aren't you the one that ate it?
No, Kevin ate it. Oh no, we can't say Kevin. Who is it? Travis.
Travis
Ate it.
Is that what we're on now?
Travis.
Why do we always have to do this?
Why? You only like you haven't been making sandwiches until Travis came in. Like now you're stepping up your game again. I'm glad you're learning from CG, Vanessa, but you know, it's a little obvious.
She's on the Travis train.
Oh, Julie.
That
Julie.
was 2 weeks ago, she said.
Yeah, I know, but
Well,
we weren't. We didn't do it.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this gets entered. So Julie has oatmeal sourdough bread, which looks friggin' outstanding. Shredded
Oatmeal
chicken,
sourdough?
sharp white cheddar, lettuce, red onions, mayo, brown mustard.
Okay.
Are those
Okay.
Cape Cod chips? I'm
It
sold
looks
on
like
the
it.
Cape
Don't
Cod
care
chips.
about the chips.
No, sea salt and vinegar Cape Cod. Yum.
I don't care. It's a killer burger, says Jim Cox. It looks good though.
Is on that.
But he said
Just
he's filming it
everything.
in.
It's a mess.
Yeah. Is that a cucumber? What is
No,
it?
those are
Pickle?
pickles.
That was
Maybe.
zucchini.
Oh, I
That
thought
does
it
not
was
look
like
like a pickle.
maybe it's not a pickle. Jim's in the chat. He could tell us.
That looks like a raw cucumber.
That's my.
Is this like
no? That was
Okay.
That was from
before.
the last
No.
time.
I didn't enter anything
All
last
right.
week.
So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. I wonder what
That's
was
how you
this?
know
Oh,
Jim
thank
lives in
you.
California.
Julie Pascal, you are my 6th favorite woman on the planet. Again. She wins. She always wins.
I like your pink keyboard.
Yeah.
So polls in the chat.
Oh yeah, let me go.
We have this chip company. I don't know how far wide it is. I think it might actually be Canadian, but Utz, UTZ. They have malt vinegar chips that are like so good. It's actually like, probably one of my favorites. And then the Cape Cod that have the naturals. Oh no, actually I think that's Utz as well. They're all kettle fried. Extra crispy is good.
Yeah, Utz is, I think, national.
Is it? Okay.
We have it here. Yeah.
Guys, I don't know why you're voting for Amanda. You can make that sandwich yourself. It doesn't even look like a woman made the sandwich. It looks like some dude got up in the morning and threw some shit in the fridge on a croissant.
That's like a Scooby-Doo sandwich.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't make my own bread.
Or it was made for a guy.
One of these
I know. I have this pleasant like thing of like Julie was like Jude Cleaver. What was Bieber's
June?
mom? Jude Cleaver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in an apron, like in black and white, like baking bread and shit. Like that's Julie for me. She always wins.
I wonder how much other homesteading stuff she does. You know,
She makes her own butter.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Churning it in
canning
front of the
shit?
fort.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet she does can. You don't even know. Probably canned peppers. Yeah.
Pickles, dilly beans.
Is it as long as her kitchen? It's like, what's that? Pleasantville? Is that the movie Pleasantville? Where like it goes,
Black and white.
except when Julie goes in her kitchen, everything's black and white, and then when she leaves, it's color. But in the kitchen, it's all black and white in there.
Gary G's asking a question.
You could call it Julieville. All right, hold on. Did Leroy say I could just make a sandwich myself? I thought that led pointed. It does. It does.
That just means you can't be Leroy's sixth favorite woman, but you can still get the chat vote.
The chat votes, I guess. Like they do.
Totally exciting.
13.
Saturday.
What's that?
So
Saturday.
We have 20 in the chat, probably 19 in the chat because I'm also in the chat. So
we've not had our strongest show this week. I apologize to the chat.
Blame Leroy. Everybody else does.
You did pretty well for not having a plan, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I watched. I had some stuff that keep me up, and then I watched the ball game, and then it was just blah after the game. We won. I mean, but good. I was still kind of blah. So just as like I should probably put together a show and just never found the motivation.
So does that mean you're going to be making a sandwich next week there, Gary G?
Well, Gary G can't win. Well, he can win. He can win the second place trophy from the chat. Well,
people's choice.
I guess if the women don't win, I think I voted for Jim once or twice when you really disappointed me really bad.
Yep.
Amanda knows how to win. And not want to be swayed by side skirmishes. Don't know what that means.
I don't have the sides on it. Like I don't have the bottle and the chips and the
chips and garnish.
There was one week I did olives.
The show kept me company while I drew. Good enough for me. Well, there you go. I'm not sure I know how to make a sandwich. I may try. Dude, you can get married. That's what I did.
Do it by next week, though.
I mean, that's a fair strategy.
Yeah.
You could just pay for one too.
That's not the same, though.
Yeah, but dude, if you get married, like
you're still paying for it.
She'll make you a sandwich and do your laundry and let you touch her tatas. It's great.
Why can't you do that at a normal
What are the
sandwich?
downsides of marriage, though, Leroy?
Eric.
I haven't found one.
Okay.
I'm still waiting. Still waiting to find one. That's an
zombie
sandwich. There you go. All right, Amanda, you're going to win from the chat again.
Congrats,
Julie. You have to Get your cell phone out next time you're taking a picture of while you're making a sandwich. Put your phone in black and white mode and then take a picture in black and white.
Mm.
Oh, I wonder if she has the thing where you can like pick the colors and then you make everything in the background be black and white, but the sandwich just in color. Because you want to focus on the sandwich, but bring it,
No, everything's in the
Julie
kitchen is
Villo.
black and white.
How is a sandwich going to look good enough to eat if it's in black and white, Leroy?
Imagination.
Trapco says downsides of marriage: everything that isn't sandwiches, laundry service, and Tata related. I have to take the trash out all the time. I guess that kind of sucks.
I do too.
Well, you're not married.
No, I have to do everything.
Oh, and then I have to be the bad guy with the kids all the time too. I'm the bad guy. So there you go. But I don't. To be fair, I don't think I have it in me to be the good guy. Oh, can Daddy give you a hug? Well, Daddy does give hugs, but just very rare, seldomly.
My daughter's been extra lovey lately. Kind of makes me wonder if she needs or wants something. More than the hugs.
Well, I would like with my daughter. I kind of gone out of my way to be lovey, kind of, because I figured the worst thing is like if she doesn't get love from your dad, she'll go get it somewhere else, and I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Like my whole goal was like for to have her keep the goods in the package, and I succeeded. So I kept her off the pole, man. And I remember, dude, like it's like I forgot, but somebody like my she's pretty athletic, my daughter, and like somebody's like she's gonna be one hell of a gymnast or one hell of a stripper. I'm like, I'll kill you.
That's the perfect thing to tell someone right there.
Right. No one daddy issues. No. Daddy issues sucks. Chris Walk would be proud. I don't know what that means. That was probably a joke he told, I guess. I thought he did the champagne room.
Yeah. There's no sex in the champagne room, allegedly.
That's a lie.
Vanessa, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Is there champagne in the champagne room?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't want to know where that bottle's been, though. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
All right.
All
right, we're going to end
bottle
it.
Opening.
15 minutes early.
Oh, you're not going to harass me? Great. Let's go end the show.
About what, Travis? We already did harass you about Travis.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was mild. Okay, cool. We'll take that.
Well, the last two haven't stuck around. So if 3 weeks from now Travis is still around, what's he been around now? 2 weeks now? 3 weeks? Probably longer than that. But that's when we caught on. So we'll give it a couple of weeks. We want him to be a keeper. So, all right, we will talk to everybody later.
Yeah. See you guys.